You're trying to get a little lighter in healthcare. You sold J&J, you sold Pfizer.
We did.
Broader strategy moves?
Yeah, we lightened Lilly. Yeah, we want to be more defensive. I think that given the fact, number one, it's the second largest sector in the market, I think there's some risk there, especially given all the momentum players playing healthcare for momentum.
I mean, it's the worst performing sector of the year.
Correct.
Still positive by 7.75%, but nonetheless, it's been a disappointment.
I totally get it. I think where you need to be as an investor is being more in the HMOs, in the providers and the biotechs and some of the devices. I think that there's going to be some risk to owning these vaccine companies, perceived or not. And so we'd rather sit on the sidelines and come back. Didn't sell all of our Lilly for Steph's point. Amazing company, owned it for 10 years. We just don't have it as overweight as we were.
You're trying to get a little bit bigger in financials, which you've loved for a long time. We know that. Because you've told us for a while now, years in fact. So Citigroup is a new buy. We can talk about what you added to, but people have started to, get an idea of what you've already had in your book. But Citigroup's new. Why?
So we've owned Citigroup in our tactical and our value. We put it in our all cap, and the reason is that we really believe that Jane Fraser, the CEO, has finally got the pieces of the puzzle in place with respect to her longer-term vision, and the vision's working. We bought the stock originally in our tactical last September of 23. We own it in our value for 10 years, but all cap, I think, from a broader perspective, we want some more exposure there, and that's why we initiated it.
So there was a couple calls yesterday related to Tesla, where the broad view on it was the world's changed, right? Those were the words that were actually used in one of the pieces that we brought our viewers yesterday. You bought it, in fact, because you believe that as well. The world's changed.
We do. You've known me for a long time. This is a stock that I have not wanted to own. I have not wanted to own this stock, and sometimes you just have to admit where you've missed some things and be humble. And the world is changing, and so we've started to nibble on this, and we're clearly going to want to buy the stock on a pullback, but we need exposure there, especially given our theme of that barbell theme. Remember, Tesla's in the consumer discretionary sector. So if you barbell Amazon and Tesla on one side, and you add to Lulu and some of the Starbucks and Home Depot and TJ Maxx on the other side, I think that's a great way to have the consumer.
Sure, but let's be clear. When we suggest that the world has changed,
yes,
and you say, well, we missed it, it would have been hard to anticipate. I mean, you had to get a lot of things right. Number one, the move from the election to now, you had to know that or figure that Trump was going to win. That's right. Number one. Number two, that Musk and his proximity to power, I think, is even more elevated than some had thought it would be. It's one thing to support a political candidate with tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars like he did, but then to take the lean-in role that he's doing, that is why people think that the world has changed. For the better for Tesla shareholders.
Yes, for the better of Tesla shareholders, and we're in the business of making our shareholders money in terms of our portfolios, and we wanted some exposure to that finally, and this pushed us over the edge.
AMD is new. Why did you decide to do that one?
Well, because it's a contrarian pick, and we love to buy contrarian names. This stock is a name that has underperformed this year, and our overall theme for technology is maintain your positions in the big cap, Magnificent Seven, and then start to buy and add to the smaller names. If you want to call AMD a smaller name, we think it's a name that we're going to see more and more flows into in 2025.